Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All the stuff we didn't get to during the course of the show today. Betty Rock is trying to help me out with a little bit of ChatGPTing my symptoms, which is always a slippery slope because you can either find help and hope or just spiral. If you are somebody that struggles with like medical stuff, like my daughter, I would never tell her to look up anything. And Betty struggles with it too. You've gotten a lot better in recent years. But like health stuff used to wig you out.
Well, I think because there hasn't been that many health issues recently. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. But my daughter, she would spiral. She'll spiral on my health issues. Like, and I'm like, it's okay. It's
I'm going to do that with my parents too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only children and stuff like that. I think they worry. But I've been having like what I know to be kidney stone issues for a while now. And it's kind of gotten worse because now like there's a pain in my upper left side under my ribs, and that's new. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe we should get that looked at. And I'm trying to get into my doctor, and I had I'm probably thinking he's not happy with me right now because I question things.
Well, that's his problem.
Yeah, like I'm like, because I said, hey, I tried to get a thing with the kidney doctor, and they were like, well, we can't see you till the 15th. So I'm like, can I come in to you then? And he's like, well, why don't you go to an urgent care? I'm like, why do I have you
What's
then?
the point in you being here then?
Right. I mean, if I'm just going to go to urgent care every time I don't feel good, why do I need a primary care physician?
Exactly.
The idea is that we have a relationship. You know more about me, and we can figure this out. And that's why you have one. And I said in an email to him, I said, is this the new way that we do medicine now? And I said, I'm not trying to be snarky or mean, but I don't understand it. It seems like our primary care physician now is just there for yearly checkups.
Yeah.
And if you're really sick, you can't get in.
Right.
And the default is go to the urgent care. And that is now the new primary care physician, which I'm not thrilled with. And so we had been going back and forth about stuff. And when I threw that one down, next thing I know, he's out. And I'm getting texts from his assistant. Nurse lady, like, hey, we can schedule you for Monday or whatever.
Good.
So, I mean, I got what I wanted out of it, but I'm curious if I damaged it. And I was trying not to be snarky.
Yeah, but there's something that needed to be said.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not trying to be snarky, but it's the same thing with texting and emails. Like people can read if they're already wounded or already have a predisposition of how they think you're coming across. It doesn't matter how you word it. They're going to put an attitude to it.
Yeah, because I tried to word it right and stuff like that. And then I think he just was like, fine, you deal with it now. And he just stepped out, you know. So then now I got to deal with that when I already don't feel good.
Well, here's the good news.
Oh, is there good news?
Well, I don't know. The good news is that Chatty G is here for you.
Uh-oh.
So, at no cost.
See, you're smiling, which makes me think it's giving me a death sentence.
No. So I plugged in. I said, Wally's dealing with the pain on his left side right under his ribs.
Yeah.
What could it be? Okay, so Chatty G said, well, this area is called the left upper quadrant. Okay. And in this quadrant, it includes your stomach, your spleen, part of the pancreas.
Oh, no.
Your left kidney. Okay. That's a little farther back. Yeah. And your ribs and muscles. Okay. Okay, so it said the most common cause. Now, I'm going to tell you there are 5 hypotheticals. Okay.
Love it. Let's go.
The first most common cause is gas or digestion issues. This is super common. Now,
it's not that.
Does it feel like sharp, crampy, and it comes and goes?
Might be that then. No, it's like stabby pains kind of thing.
Okay, so that sounds kind of crampy.
No, it's
sharp.
Stabby. It's sharp. Yeah, it's sharp.
Worse after eating or certain foods?
No.
Okay. Can literally feel like a stabbing pain.
Stabbing.
Chatty G said this is the number one culprit more often than people realize. Yeah. So it could be you just need to go to the bathroom.
No.
Okay. Number 2, it could be muscle strain from lifting, coughing, or twisting weird. It hurts more when he moves, bends, or presses on it. Now, you did say when you press on it, it does hurt.
It definitely hurts.
But when you move or you bend, does it hurt?
I don't think so. And it's just kind of more random that it jabs me.
It said if you can recreate the pain by touching or moving, this jumps way up the list.
It's like muscular or whatever. I don't know, because I have been working out. And so, but I think
What?
I know you can't tell. That's possibly the meanest thing. What's that?
What have you been doing?
I'm doing dumbbells. Like, it's upper body, and I wear shirts so you can't see. So
okay, let's move on to the next one.
I'll wear a tank tomorrow.
Clearly, it's not the muscle strain. Okay, the other one: stomach irritation, acid or ulcer, burning or gnawing pain, worse when hungry or after certain foods, and it might come with nausea.
Now, I get nausea, but you also get that with kidney stones.
Okay. The next one, number 4, is kidney issues.
Yeah.
Pain more towards the back side.
Yeah, that's what it's been. So that's how I know, all right, I got a kidney stone. But then the whole thing in the front under my rib, that's new with this.
It said it can be intense and it comes in waves.
Yeah.
You said that. Might have nausea or bathroom changes.
Yeah, don't ask about those. But yes.
Okay, and then finally, spleen related.
That's
this
what
is
I
the
don't
one
want.
that you're more cautious of.
Yeah.
Yes. They said this is less common but important.
Okay.
You have a dull or sharp pain under your left rib.
That's it.
Worse with deep breaths.
Yes.
Sometimes after illness or injury. Have you been sick or injured lately?
I don't think so, unless I strained something with working out. But yeah, like if I breathe deeply, I feel it more.
Okay, I'm going to say, let's say it's the spleen.
What happens?
What other things should he look for?
And you said it hurts when you breathe.
Yeah, if I breathe deeply,
Like
I
a
feel
big-
it. Yeah. Yeah.
If we zoom in on the spleen,
Okay.
we're talking about something a little less common, but definitely worth knowing what to watch for.
Okay.
Okay, signs: it could be spleen related. Pain patterns. Pain right under the left ribs.
Yeah.
Can spread to the left shoulder.
I haven't had that yet.
Worse with deep breaths.
Yes.
Whole body symptoms. If the spleen is involved, it's often tied to something systematic, fever or chills.
No, I'm cold all the time, but I wouldn't say chills.
Feeling run down, fatigue.
Yes.
Recent illness.
No.
Physical sensations, feeling full quickly when eating.
Ooh.
Tenderness if you press under the left rib.
Oh, yeah.
A sense of fullness or heaviness on that side.
Yeah, ish.
Easy bruising or bleeding.
I don't think so.
Pale skin or weakness.
No.
Dizziness.
Yeah.
Emergency level spleen warning.
Nice. What's that? Let's
Sudden,
get to that.
sharp, severe pain under left rib.
Yeah.
Pain shooting to the left shoulder.
Okay.
Lightheadedness or fainting. Confusion or weakness.
Okay. Well, some of those I've had lightheadedness before for other things too. So hard to tell on that one.
Spleen issues usually don't show up as just a random side pain. They tend to come with other your body is fighting something signals.
Okay. Interesting. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well.
Let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
He's
Is he gonna die?
currently dealing with kidney stones.
Okay.
He's dealt with these all his life, so he knows what it feels like. But this pain in his left rib is new.
That is new.
Ah, okay. That actually helps a lot. If
Does
he
it?
already knows kidney stone pain well and is saying this feels different,
Yeah.
I'd take that seriously. Not panic, but definitely pay attention. First thought, it still could be kidney related. Kidney pain can be sneaky with locations. Even though we think of it as lower back, kidney stone pain can radiate up towards the ribs, wrap around to the front under the rib cage, feel like it's in a totally new spot. But usually if it's a stone, it still has that intense wave-like, can't sit still pain he recognizes.
Yeah.
Since he says it feels different, here are some more likely new pain options. Muscle strain, honestly, very likely. Rib irritation, inflammation. Kidney stones sitting higher are causing referred pain. Even if it feels different, could be stone irritation, different, especially if it's on the left side.
Yeah.
If it comes in waves or nausea or that something's wrong internally feeling, then it's kidney stone related.
Okay. All right. Well,
I would say
probably kidney.
it sounds like you've let your kidneys go too long.
Yeah, maybe.
Or you've got a big one that it can't pass.
Yeah. And I can't get into the kidney doctor till the 15th. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not here the 15th. So then I have to try to move. I just took the first appointment they could do, and then I looked at my schedule. I'm like, oh, I'm not even here. And I'm trying to get this knocked out before I travel. I got a bunch of travel. I got work travel. I got 2 work trips coming up, and
You've
then
also
I've got
dealt with a
Japan.
lot of stress lately.
Yes. So that's a little factor in there as well. So
I'm betting on kidneys.
yeah, I probably so.
Because you were already dealing with that before this little pain came.
Yeah. And then this is just radiating. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I'll know more next week.
All right, let's move on to the next thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I was checking our voicemails, and we got one. Now, I don't know her name because she didn't leave her name. But you can always leave a voicemail for us if you have something you want to share about what we talked about earlier, or you just have a burning question that you need our advice on. The number to call is 615-807-0040. But this woman, she wanted to chime in her thoughts about something that we talked about yesterday in our Aftercast. Gavin pulled a little bit of audio of what we talked about.
Yeah, because I was talking about, like, where is God in things and trying to figure out where he is and when he's working, when he's not working. And I kind of struggled through that. And it was using the conversation of being in Africa and this lady getting really sick as the backdrop for that. Like, I'm like, well, where is God in this? Where was he? And my wife and I were having this conversation, and then we talked about it in the Aftercast.
Well, I think you see God through the fact that you and Marty were there and you stayed well enough to help take care of her.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. But like, I know
she might be dead.
I know all these people are praying for her, and they're praying, and that she, to me, I'm like, okay, it's more obvious when all of a sudden she gets healed. You go, oh, okay, that's God. I get it. But then everything else is people just doing their job. Yeah, so I kind of wrestled through that. So this is the voicemail of somebody trying to help me, I guess, process this.
Every good thing that is on this earth is because of God. If God was not active in our lives every single day, then essentially the world would be hell, because the absence of God is hell. So God's presence in the world is working. For example, if I go to the hospital and I am injured and I need stitches or something, and me being able to get into the hospital, get front in line, and get what I need taken care of, even though it's that person's job, them being there is God.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. This is still a tough one for me.
But I think it's interesting that she claims, in the Bible it says that the absence of God is hell.
Right.
To be
right.
And so if we think about it in that perspective, then all the good things that come to us, and the Bible does say every good and perfect thing that comes to us is from God, then we would have to say, well, that is God. So anytime you feel like you can laugh or find joy in something or smile, that is God, because the absence of him would be complete hell.
How do you reconcile then, if every good thing comes from God, how do you reconcile him not doing good things when he has the ability to do them, but then you're saying he chooses not to and let the bad thing continue to happen versus giving the good thing that helps?
I think typically we build our relationship with God more when tough times are available.
Sure.
And I think
tough one. It's a tough question.
I think here's something. Like, a big thing for me is I fear health situations.
Right.
I fear a diagnosis. I fear a diagnosis for the people that I love.
Yeah.
And that anxiety can bleed into today, where I can't enjoy today. If I have a worldly perspective or a now perspective, that is devastating and terrible. And if I keep that perspective and I go through something like that, I'm going to be mad at God, because this is my perspective. This is what I see. This is what I know. However, if I change my perspective to be an eternal perspective, a heavenly perspective, I can think that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because eventually my goal is to get to heaven. And there's not going to be any more sadness, no more sickness. And so it won't feel as devastating. If I can change my perspective to an eternal perspective, anything that happens to me here doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he steps in or he doesn't, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because he's defeated it all, and this isn't the end. I think it can be a stopping point for you. It can be tough if you have that now perspective. Like, fix it now, because this is what's important.
Right.
And I do understand that, and I fall into that too, because this is what we know. But it takes a lot more faith and a lot more courage to have an eternal perspective, because we don't have anything to base that on.
Mm-hmm.
All it is what we read, what we believe.
I think that the premise is where I am working through right now, and this is a pretty basic premise inside of faith, is that every good thing comes from God.
Mm-hmm.
Because in essence, then you're saying that, okay, any good thing in my life, God, you did, you're responsible for. But then what's the bad then? The bad then is just the way the world works. So why couldn't it be that it's just the way the world works, good and bad? You know, like it's God put us here, and he's like, look, you've got salvation. I gave you that. That's my gift. You're going to have to work some stuff out here on your own, you know, and that's just the price tag of living in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be there as a comforter, you know, kind of thing. But how much I'm involved, I think I have a different perspective on how involved he truly is in the daily stuff. And again, none of this is to throw anybody off. I'm just being honest about where my head's at right now. And the questions that I have that I'm trying to figure out is that I tend to think he's more hands off, you know, like laissez-faire government, you know, kind of thing. Like he set it in motion. It's going down. This is what it's going to be. I'm going to be there to comfort you and give you peace.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not getting involved. I mean, because really horrific things happen to people every day that, like, if I was going to watch something horrific happen to my daughter and I could stop it, I would stop it in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
But then when God doesn't, you're like, well, why did you not? That's rough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, well, every good thing came from me. Well, a good thing or came from God. Well, a good thing would have been preventing that, you know? And so that's a question that I wrestled with for a long time.
But
I thought I had settled, but apparently not.
But wouldn't you think that if he fixed it every time, like let's say for all the Christians, anything bad that happens to them, if he fixes all of it, what do you think that would signal to everybody else?
Yeah, well, it'd be something that works, and more people would gravitate towards it.
But for the wrong reasons.
Right, because it fixes your problem.
Right, they're not there for the right reasons.
Right.
They're there for the wrong reasons.
Right, but my premise to that is when he doesn't fix it, then it is one of those things that like he can't fix everything, and I agree with that. I believe that. I think where I get messed up with is that when is he choosing to fix and when is he choosing not to fix? Like, 'cause I do believe he's still involved. I just don't know. I'm saying I don't know when.
Well, you have said before, I've heard you say this multiple times, that the testimony of someone who has been through something terrible and still chose God speaks volumes.
Absolutely.
Over someone who was going through something rough, God intervened, and then, yay, praise God. Well, yeah, praise God, because it all worked out in your favor.
Right.
Yeah. So who's to say that your suffering or something that you go through, it's terrible, and he weeps with you, but he also knows the good that's going to come from it.
Sure, and I'm 100% willing to believe that he sees a bigger picture than we see, and that he uses bad things for good. 100%. Yeah. I think that I struggle when people say that, like, he only has, like, only good things happen for believers because of God, you know, kind of thing. And if it's good, it's God, you know. But the reality is all believers die. Everyone's going to die. Mm-hmm. And so, and God, you know, doesn't want you to hurt, and God doesn't want this for you, and God doesn't want this for you. You know, God is this. I think this is the big one. God is there to protect us. It's not true. It's just simply not true. If God was there to protect us, none of us would die from this world. Mm-hmm. Now, he's there to give us eternal life, but he definitely does not physically protect you from the ilks of this world and the harm of this world. Mm-hmm. Now, you have hope and peace in his salvation, which is great. But I think it's a misnomer that I think it's a disservice that we do when we're like, oh, God's going to protect me. It's not true.
No, for sure. But I think that this is not the world that God had in mind for us.
Sure.
When he created the world with Eden and he had Adam and Eve there, we always get mad at Adam and Eve because we're like, why did you do that? Because you cursed everybody. You know? But the truth is that you put any of us there and we would have messed up.
The truth is God put the option there for the sin.
Because he gave you, but had he not done that, then we wouldn't have had a choice to whether or not to obey. You would have been told what to do instead of being given the choice what you want to do.
You wouldn't have known.
No,
you wouldn't have known.
Like, is
but
that?
there's not free will in that. That's a robot.
What is that? Yeah, what life is that? If you're
how is that not free will? If God just has you in the garden and he's like, hey, name animals, have fun, everything like that, you're like, oh, this is great.
But then free will. But then the definition of free will in that situation is only choose good. Like you only choose between.
Why does free will have to? Why does it have to be a bad choice? You can have free will to have an ice cream sandwich, or you can have free will to have a ham sandwich. Or whatever.
But
you're
not getting the choice of. Like those are two good things. You're not getting a choice of the bad thing.
But that's the premise. Do you have to have the bad thing to have free will?
I think that I think so. I think the struggle internally is that. Like he lets that when he created the world, he did not make it perfect, or when everything existed, because everything I guess theoretically stems from like Satan, I guess.
But it was perfect, and he put the one thing in there that could cause the imperfection. So he did that
to give us free will.
He did, he purposely left something in there that could cause a stumble, which it ultimately did, and it led to all of the broken world and stuff like that. Had he not had that in there, and he had said either just love me or don't love me, that's still free will, But then his thing was the next level of that. It's like it wasn't even about love me. It was like, well, I guess it was kind of the knowledge of good and evil, like Eve was tempted with, well, you want to be like God. And so that's where the rebellion or the rising of wanting to know and be God came in. But like he built that into the system.
But do you see it as loving if a parent is like saying, now you can have, because it is good for you, you can have either broccoli or Brussels sprouts.
Right.
Okay? That's the choices that you get. Now you, though, you wouldn't know any better. You just be like, that's
one of my choices. But you throw an ice cream.
Content with that? But you throw happy with that?
But if you throw an ice cream sundae in there, human free will is going to choose the thing that's devastating for us every time. You know.
If you're a parent though, and do you think that your goal as a parent to protect your kid? Okay, is your only goal in life to protect your kid while not letting them ever grow, though? Like,
if you're I want my kid to grow.
But you want them to grow, but does growth mean the opportunity to make their own choices and thus also mess up?
Yeah.
And then grow from that and learn from those
mistakes.
But
am I going to put something in front of my daughter that is something that has devastating consequences for her? Absolutely not. But I'm going to put a door here, and one of the doors, if she opens this door, there's a semi on the other side that's going to run her down. And I know that. And then there's another door that's going to lead her to a lamb farm where she gets to pick lambs. I'm not going to build the door with the semi that's going to take her out.
Well, you're going full throttle in like devastation, and sometimes that's what we
experienced.
But I see it as more like if we don't have free will, it's like the same as a helicopter parent that's just wrapping you in bubble wrap.
Right.
None of us are going to be happy with that. We'll feel claustrophobic. We'll get it's. None of us would, and that's not love.
Yeah, but I think free will.
Do you think love is just to constantly cater to your daughter, never let her live life, never have her experience anything bad, so that everything is sunshine and roses to her, and that she will?
I am going to protect her at all costs. I'm not going to put her in a room. I'm not like. Here's an example. If I'm looking for a babysitter, and when she's young, and there's a babysitter that has a record, has a rap sheet. Mm-hmm. As a child molester, I'm not going to go, yeah, he seems nice enough. He's the cheapest. We'll let him do this. I'm never going to put her in a place where she can be ultimately harmed. Now, there's certain things where I'm going to put her in a place where she has to audition for a role and she's going to get her heart broken if she doesn't get it. And I'm going to tell her to get up and keep going. Like that, yeah, that's part of growth. But I'm never going to put her in a place where she can be physically harmed, you know, and irreparably harmed, emotionally damaged. Like, I'm just not going to do that, you know.
I understand where you're coming from, but I think it ultimately comes down to, like, I had friends of mine, they're sisters, and they were both Christians. Their dad got sick with cancer. It was devastating for them.
Sure.
Because he was only like 51 or 52. And they were both leaders in their church. He was a leader at their church that they grew up in. They grew up in church. They believed wholeheartedly that God was going to heal their dad.
Yeah.
They sang praises to God by the hospital bed.
A friend that same
told
situation.
doctors and nurses, this is just a season. He's going to come out of it.
And I believe that really hard for my buddy.
At the end, he did not.
Yeah.
He died. Okay. One sister fell off the wagon.
Yep.
She's now doing what do you call them? Gems. Like, she shaved off her head.
Oh wow.
She's got these little gems.
Oh, like holistic.
Very holistic.
Weird
she's got some kids that are now turning into her as well and making some questionable decisions that I think are going to be dramatic, traumatic for them and their family. The other sister did the complete opposite. Her and her family clung tighter to God.
Right.
Now her kids are thriving. They're still in church. They're leading Bible studies. They have a testimony.
Right.
You have two options.
Absolutely.
You can sit there and you can say, I need you to explain, but I don't think you're going to get it. You've got to do your own personal work on it. You can either choose to cling to him or you can choose to let him go.
Absolutely.
It's one or the other.
I watched this happen with my friend, and we all believed that he was going to be healed, like 100%. But then the people in his life that are the closest to him, when that didn't happen, it undid one of them, you know? And like me, it didn't undo me because I'm like, well, that's the way the world works. We're all going to die. Would I have loved for God to have intervened? And I think a story could have been told that would have been amazing because of it. But I'm willing, and I know enough to know that I don't know enough. You know, I don't know what God's doing or how he's using that stuff. So like, I can accept that. I can, 1 billion, I can accept less God intervention than more. Mm-hmm. Like I'm good with that. Like I'm 100% good with God. If God told me today, or if I died and I went and saw him and he goes, yeah, I didn't do any of that stuff. Like I didn't heal people. It was just the way things worked. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like I'm fine with that. You know, like I don't think he has to heal everybody to be God.
Yeah.
I think he's bigger and more powerful than all of us regardless.
Well, and the purpose of Jesus on earth was to be God incarnate and to do the things that prove that he was God.
Also, too, we aren't told about all the people that he didn't heal. There are so many people in the Bible that wanted to be healed.
But he didn't. He walked right by them.
But the ones that he did heal are in the Bible, and their testimony brings his story of impact even further.
I do believe that God heals. I've seen multiple people where they were, by science, were going to be dead, and then all of a sudden, your cancer's gone. Like, what? Like, so I do believe God heals. I think for me, I've just always struggled with, I don't know when. And so if I don't know when, there are times when I look at something and I go, is this necessarily God's hand? But then there are other people that are like, well, something good happened. That's obviously God. And I'm like, I don't know.
It comes to fairness. You think that if you work for one, you should work for the other.
Yeah.
And then I've heard pastors say when it comes to, well, that's not fair.
Right.
Well, what we're told then is that if it were all fair, then we would all burn in hell because we all sin.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just the question of like, what do we, our idea of goodness could be very different from like what God's idea of goodness is. Even in like, I think it's Mark or Matthew where someone's like, oh, you're good. And even Jesus says, why are you calling me good? Only God is good.
Yeah.
And God, the interesting thing is that he gave us that option of understanding the difference between good, or was it the knowledge of good and evil? Mm-hmm. So and even I think back to, it was like Momentum 2 or 3 years ago when Lisa Turker said something about, us attaching outcomes, us attaching our faith to the outcomes that we write is
right.
Is detrimental because God's outcome is different, and it just seems like we're not supposed to know or understand those outcomes, which it's hard because I think we do want control.
This is where I come down to, because this is the thing, it's not a lack of faith. It is about like the outcomes, like because when something good happens, they instantly go, "That's God," because God's good. He only wants the best for us. That outcome is good, and that's God. But then when it doesn't go that way, it's like, "Oh, that outcome's the devil," and I'm like, I don't believe that either. I think the outcome, good or bad, can be outside of God, because again, like you said, sometimes he heals, sometimes he doesn't. And sometimes things happen that are good that necessarily I don't know that they are him. And I'm willing to be okay with either of those, you know?
And it could be that we're trying to justify God
that's my point.
With our limited peripheral vision or whatever, and that is true. And I don't think people understand how they can hurt others when they say, well, my cancer was cured,
right,
and we prayed hard. We kept singing.
What happened to me?
We didn't stop praising God.
And
where
came
if you
through.
have that one slight moment in your cancer battle where you curse God, then you're like, well, that's the reason why he didn't cure me, because I did this, and that can get dangerous.
I think that where I get a little problematic with it for me is when I'm talking to other believers, and they keep changing the criteria for what's good. You know, it's like, oh, God is so good because everything's good. And then it's like, oh, well, there's this bad thing that happened. Okay, well, God is good. Well, then this happened. Well, God is still good in this. Well, this happened. Well, no, this is God. They keep saying, well, this is God. This is God. This is God. And they're looking all through it, trying to find somewhere and something that's good in it, because they can't have their faith. They have to say that everything is good, because if they don't, to the outside world, then they feel like a hypocrite of saying, well, this wasn't good for me. You know?
Maybe it's a lack of control.
Yeah,
they're trying to get that
I think
control
we try to justify
by justifying.
We try to justify that all the things we say about God being good, when things don't go well and he doesn't show up, we still find something to justify it, so that to the outside we don't look crazy for serving something that isn't working for you from the outside perspective.
Maybe.
That's what drives me nuts with people, because it seems like you're so out of touch and you seem so oblivious that your faith doesn't seem genuine to me or real.
And I think that we're probably more similar to early, first century or pre-Jesus, like Israelites, who obviously wanted a more physical, warrior king to change things for them.
Right.
And Jesus's whole point, even though he did come down and do all these physical things, all this physical healing, his whole mission was to be a bridge between us and God, and be that relationship between us and God.
Right.
Everything else around it, the goodness, the healing, all those things are just derivatives of who God is and what his power is, but it was never the point of why Jesus.
No, it's not. It's not the
was
point
here, and and I think that's the hard thing, is that I think we want to attach the point of our faith to, and I think what you're saying, people justify. They're trying to attach the point of our faith to outcomes,
right?
And that
is that.
So. It's not what it was ever meant to be, but it's the kind of stuff that is what we're asked to react to.
The point of why you were created was to give glory to God. I mean, that's a hard thing to wrestle with too. Like, you created something to just love you, and praise you. But that was ultimately, that was why we were created, and for communion with God and relationship with God. And then that got destroyed. We weren't created to have a perfect life. We weren't created to have things that go right for us every time. That's not it, and even praying for these things, it's great when it works out. But like Betty, was saying that I say, the people when it doesn't work out for them and they still are faithful, I think that's impressive. That's awesome, because it's easy when God works like a product and gives you what you want, that it's easy to praise and be like, yeah, God's good. I get that. Why wouldn't you be happy about that? But ultimately, none of that is why we were created, and none of that is what we're actually supposed to be focused on. And it's supposed to be focused on sharing the love of Jesus and the salvation of Jesus with a lost and dying world. The other stuff, honestly, it's ancillary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get caught up in it, like I'm caught up in it now having a debate about it, but it's ancillary, you know, realistically. But it's still questions we still have to have and talk about for sure.
Well, and they're big ones too for unbelievers too.
100%.
I think that's the hard part too, is that you want to have all these answers for people that you want to invite into a relationship with Jesus, but then if it's a big enough, what's it called? Just block for them that they can't get past his inaction or action, then you still are responsible for trying to help them through that.
The reason I ask all the questions is, and the reason I want the answers is less for me. I know my salvation is secure. I know God is who he is, and I might have things wrong about him, but I also know that doesn't damn me. And I also know that he can deal with that, and it's fine. He'll course correct me and be like, dude, this is what I meant. I go, dadgummit, I got that wrong. For me, I ask the hard questions because I want to have ways to present it to people who didn't grow up in faith and don't have a predisposition to accept things at face value or things that seem crazy. Like, I want to have a reason. So when someone goes, okay, now wait a minute. So you love this God that lets kids be murdered. Tell me how. And I want an answer for that. I want to know the best way to tell somebody an answer to that so that they're not at an impasse with God. That's why I question this stuff. It's because I care and because I want other people who struggle, because I have people in my life that can't get there, you know, and they're great people, but they're not saved. And so I want to be able to effectively communicate how some of these tough questions work. So there you go. Ooh, that was deep today. 2 days in a row. Somebody commented, they emailed me about the Aftercast, and I'm like, oh yeah, man, sorry about that. It's been 2 days of heavy, or a couple of days of heavy in a row, and I'm like, we'll lighten it up tomorrow. Sorry.
Oops. Any kids' birthdays to go into?
Yeah. Fantastic.
We did that the other day.
All right. Well, that was 37 minutes, so we got to get out of here and get on with the rest of the stuff we got to do for tomorrow's show. So, as always, thanks for indulging us and listening and being a potty.